Welcome to Homemaker Chic Podcast. We are rescuing the art of homemaking from the daily grind. Red lips, no denim jumpers. Did you guys see our new logo on Spotify and Apple and everything? No, we didn't see each other, but we took some pictures and we have some fresh faces. Those pictures were so old. Yikes.
I sometimes like to use old pictures because I'm like, yeah, that's what I look like.
Right.
Exactly. 7 years? That's nothing.
That's nothing. Oh, you look pretty in green today.
Thank you. I'm hiding my workout clothes underneath.
I'm not.
Angel's not hiding them. I am hiding them.
I'm in all my flash dance glory here. Yeah.
Yeah, I have just had a heck of a week. I got the plague. My family had the plague last week, if you remember. I got the plague this week and just felt awful. Just felt awful. And so I hate that too because I do work out with a tonal and it'll be like, hey girl, haven't seen you in a few days. Hey girl, don't lose your week streak. And you're like, I'm in bed sick, tonal. Can we pause?
When you get the notification?
Yes.
Yes, and I'm like an anti-notification person and I just always think, I'm sorry, did I give you permission to harass me on my day off? Because like I have a program I do and at the beginning you have to pick which days you're going to follow the program. And I just pick them. Like, I don't care. Let's just do this. I'll work out when I feel like it. But yeah, so those, like, it'll go off on Sunday. I'm like, oh, no.
Right.
No legs day on Sunday.
Right.
Don't make me feel guilty.
No legs day on Sunday. That's right. That's just the thing. It's, I wish my only complaint, and I've had my tonal for 6 years, is that I wish there was like hey, I'm going on vacation. Can we not lose my week streak? Because
I promise I'll do full weight body squats in my hotel room.
I can't take my tonal with me.
I know.
So please don't shame me.
Are you on 2 million pounds yet? I bet you hit 2 million.
I'm on 1,950,000.
Okay. See, I was a slacker for like a year. So I think even though I got mine before you did, you've caught up to me. So I'm at like 1.8.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
I'm
hit 2
really
million.
close.
Yeah.
I'm really close. So yeah, I'm going to get back to it today. As soon as we're done recording today, I've got my workout clothes on underneath. My pastor always says, do the thing you want to do the least first. And it's good advice. So, those days when you get up and you're like, man, there's quite a few things on this list that I'm not super excited about.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we love our work,
right?
You and I, work is still work. And I think that's kind of this myth that people have about work is that it's some great calling and some great meaning and find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Excuse me? Have you ever had a job?
Right. That's why I'm surprised you can work out in the afternoon. I got to get it out of the way. Not that I don't love working out. It's just that it is like, I don't ever I'm like, yay. I like it 15 minutes in when I'm like, yeah, girl, but.
No, I have a hard time in the morning. And I like working out. I don't like doing Bulgarians. We've well established that. It's one of my only kind of quiet times. People generally leave me alone because if they come in like mid squat, I'm like,
right.
I'll be on in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when I feel best doing it. But knocking a bunch of stuff off your to-do list and then getting to quote treat yourself with a workout. I really do feel like a workout it's a gift. Every time I work out, I'm like, man, thank you, body, for being able to do this. For being able to do this. It's amazing.
And when you're sick, that sort of drives it home. You're like,
oh big time. I established this past week, I was like, look, if I get some like long terminal illness, this is going to be bad. Because I had like one day and Stu's like, how are you? I was like, I think I've been poisoned. I feel so awful. And I just thought about all the people who, for some of them for decades, just live with real engrossed physical pain. And man, what a difficult burden to bear. truly.
Right, right.
Physical burdens, wow. Burdens in general, emotional ones are heavy. Oftentimes they manifest physically, but
Hmm.
it is one of those things. I think I wrote about this on Substack and somebody commented and it said, a healthy person has many troubles, a sick man has one.
Mm.
And it's so true because when you don't have your vitality, that's all you're thinking about.
It's all consuming for sure. Hmm.
Yeah, it's all consuming. So I'm glad to be on the mend. I feel a lot better. I'm sorry that I don't sound better. I know it's obnoxious to listen to stuffy people, but here we are.
Here we are.
Angel's going to Paris, so we got to record when we can. That's
Absolutely.
how we do it.
2 more weeks. Mm.
2 more weeks.
I have some new people
Um,
and some returns. I can't. I'm looking forward to seeing the returns, obviously, but I'm keen to meet these new people. It's going to be great.
mhm, mhm. It's going to be real fun. Our Italy trip is shaping up in quite a funny way because my parents are coming with us. They've traveled to Mexico before, but that's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So this will be their first European adventure,
Hmm.
by far their longest adventure, and their longest away from home ever. So they're going for a lot of firsts this time. We're going a week early to show them this region, and
Oh,
then
that's
our
great.
guests come for a week, and
Okay.
then we're staying on a week after as well. Well,
Dang.
so my parents will be there with us for the whole time. My kids will be there. They won't be with the group when they come. That's why my
Sure.
parents are coming to hang out with the kids.
Awesome.
And it's a safe and quiet village, so
Hmm.
they'll be fine. The kids can romp around all day. But
Hmm.
um, Stu's mom and his father, wait,
No.
stepdad,
Yeah.
his stepdad, my father. Okay, his stepdad and his mom are coming as guests on the trip. So they will be there. And then my brother-in-law decided to fly in for the third week to come hang out with us.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
like, and it just made me feel
My big fat
so
Italian
incredibly
reunion.
grateful.
Yeah.
Like, all these people are coming to this place, to this village,
Yeah.
simply because I'm obsessed.
Hmm.
And
But
they're
it's
all
really
coming. It's a little vote of support. It's really sweet.
and it's lovely for you. I mean, when I got to share Paris with my mom and my sister, it was like, now you know what I've been yakking about for
Right.
20 years. Now
And
you get it.
even if
Yeah.
it doesn't hit them in the same way,
Still a
which
point of connection. Yeah.
they'll have a point of connection, they'll be like, at least I know what you're talking about,
Hmm. Hmm.
even if I don't feel that same kind of pull. So,
Sure.
anyway,
All
we're
right.
going to be
So,
talking. Yes, go.
okay. Yeah. So today we're going to look at, the season is emotionally imperfect. That we are. The season is
All the imperfects.
all the imperfects, imperfectly chic. So
Hmm.
today, we've each been writing about like this ebb and flow of life on our Substacks. So let's look at today like the life we thought we had versus the one we're actually living because I know homemakers, um I don't think we talk about it enough. I think we feel like we have to have such an attitude of gratitude, I guess, that we're not allowed to express like, hey, I thought XYZ was going to happen. Like we're not allowed to say it.
Hmm.
I know we have listeners that thought they'd be married by now. I know we have listeners that thought they'd never have a miscarriage. I know we have listeners that thought they'd be more settled or that by some certain stage in the timeline they would feel more certain, more comfortable in their own skin,
Or more adult.
or more adult. Yeah, like
What?
wouldn't I have this figured out by 38 or whatever, So, I think we can look at
Let's
that.
go into that.
Let's go into that.
Let's go into that. There's some really good stuff there and a lot we've
Mhm.
been pondering lately. So let's say thanks to our sponsors before we do that.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay.
Uh,
So you can visit toopsandco.com/HMC to shop Toops and Co. skincare and makeup. 25% off is what they're offering Homemaker Chic listeners for first time customers. Um, I love this company so much. I just reordered the glow serum, the sea buckthorn cleansing oil, which I
my
love. It's the
favorite. I
best
just
makeup
love
remover
that
in the
stuff.
world.
Yeah.
The vitamin C serum. If anything is like moist and serumy,
Hmm.
that's what I want for my skin right
Okay.
now. This is luxurious skincare with no harsh additives, preservatives, no chemicals, no artificial fragrances. We deep dove into this with Emily on the podcast a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
She challenged listeners to pull up their skincare and look at it. If the number one ingredient is water,
Sure.
that that was the biggest
Well, because then the second
flag.
ingredient is a preservative.
It has to be a
Yep.
preservative
Hmm.
because of that water to chemical
Right.
ratio.
Right.
So do that challenge and you can see, you can look up some of these now. It's amazing. The more we learn, the more we seem to sort of almost be reverting back to some of these transparent ingredients, things without mystery chemicals, because we're realizing the toxic load that our skin is taking in. So you can shop Tubes& Co. This is where you can go for your non-toxic makeup, from foundations to mascaras to skincare. Use the code HMC for 25% off.
Fabulous. Uh, well, we just got, 4 feet of snow, as many of you saw.
Just what are we doing here, Wisconsin?
I was trapped. This is what last week's YouTube was about, just being stranded. So we were trapped from Saturday to Wednesday. Couldn't leave. Couldn't leave the house. All that to say is I had spring fever on the brain. And then we got this snow deluge. But if you have spring fever on the brain and you're looking to refresh your home, I think one of the best ways to do that is with new bedding. And you can visit AmericanBlossomLinens.com and use the code HOMEMAKER2026 for 15% off your order. So if you need new pillows, you need new sheets, you need some fresh new washcloths that haven't subbed as a cleaning rag. Like you
Oh
just,
gosh.
I hate that, right? You need to freshen up the whole linen closet. You can do that. Their cotton is grown in West Texas, and everything they have, everything you see on their website is made right here in the United States. Visit
And
American
finally,
Blossom,
oh, go ahead.
visit AmericanBlossomLinens.com and use the code HOMEMAKER2026 at checkout.
My brain has been disconnected from my head these past few days. I've been making all kinds of hilarious mistakes. Finally, you can visit branchbasics.com/homemaker chic to save 15% off your starter kit with Branch Basics. This is one cleaning concentrate that's completely non-toxic, completely hypoallergenic, completely free of fragrances and hormone disruptors and preservatives. So, it's just one of those things. You can find a lot of freedom when you can have this cleaner concentrate under your bathroom sink or under your kitchen sink or in your laundry room. I actually have a bottle in all of those places. You can use it for everything and you just don't have to worry, especially if you have little kids. I remember like Comet. You remember Comet?
Oh
The like
my
scrub
gosh, that like nuclear
strong.
powder, and you'd like
And I remember
try to
my mom
exhale as you dumped it out so it didn't go up in your nose.
totally. And I remember the Mr. Yuck stickers. This was like a 90s thing. It was like this neon green,
Okay.
gross, yuck, Mr. Yuck. And you would put him on all the chemicals so like the kids could just see the Mr. Yuck sticker and be like, oh, that's toxic. Stay away from that. Do you remember this?
No, you're
People,
conjuring up
come on,
like the
people.
Mucinex goober or
No,
something.
no, no.
That's all
Anyway,
I
it
can
was a
think.
real thing. You don't have to do
Okay.
that with Branch Basics. It's so clean, so cost effective, and so effective. So branchbasics.com/homemaker chic is where you can go to get that cleaner concentrate in all the bottles to clean your home in a non-toxic way.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so in this conversation, I don't want to be dramatic, and it's not like I
Okay. No
necessarily
dramatic.
have like this huge list, right?
Okay.
But I think I think I can't imagine that it's that I'm alone in
Okay.
that, like rolling over in the middle of the night or on your walks, or when you start kind of just ruminating on things. We all deal with like a little bit of disappointment every day. Okay, that frittata didn't come out the way I expected on the small scale, to like, hey, my kid is really struggling right now, and I really never thought we'd be crossing this bridge,
Yeah.
and I think we need to give some thought to like being able to just like grieve those little moments and not feel
Mhm.
guilty about admitting like this is actually, I feel disappointed.
So we talked a few weeks ago about feeling bored.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great s- analogy is not maybe the right word. See, my brain's
Parallel?
thinking. No,
Oh,
imagery, like a
okay.
great image that I
Okay.
think about sometimes that somebody once told me. Imagine just kind of like walking along and a bird kind of comes and like pulls at your hair,
Okay.
okay? And you just sort of like swat the bird away. Get away from here. That's to me kind of what these thoughts are. They're
Mm.
real. You're allowed to have a reaction to them,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't let the bird make a nest in your hair.
Sure.
You don't just sit with boredom. You don't just sit with disappointment because we all know that's an incredibly unhealthy place to live.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, emotions are what we feel.
Right.
I mean, we have them.
Mm-hmm.
We have them. And so there you have to acknowledge them and you kind of just have to say, "Okay, yes, yes, thank you, Mr. Bird. I carry on."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because at the end of the day, this is our life. And so I think you're right. I think it's absolutely normal to feel disappointed when we have an idea in our minds of what we want that to look like. And the Lord's idea for us is just so much different than we thought it would be.
Yeah, I think like as far as mourning, whether it's like, because that is what's happening. Like that is what disappointment is. It's like a mourning. Sometimes it's a mini mourning.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a prolonged mourning.
Yes.
But I think it's good. I don't
It
know.
can be good.
It's good to, but I mean, good to remember that, we can kind of conjure up like the way we want a season in life to go, or the way we want life on the whole to go, or whatever. And then we mourn that, but if it wasn't really ours to mourn to begin with.
So we've also, you and I have said for years, my friend Kate gave me this saying years ago,
Mm.
God doesn't give you grace for your imagination.
Oh, have you ever said that on this show?
Yes, I have
No
many times.
way.
She told me this when I was pregnant with Owen. Said I've carried this one with me for a long time. God doesn't give us grace for our imagination. So you know when you're awake in the middle of the night and you're like, "What if my whole family dies in a car accident?" Blah, blah, blah. These horrible like midnight
Yeah.
thoughts. Um, God doesn't give you that's somebody's actual reality
Mm.
today,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you're using up grace that's not yours
Mm.
because that hasn't happened to you yet. And in kind of a flip floppy way, that's kind of what this is getting at. We have this idea of how things are going to go. They
Mm-hmm.
don't go that way. We get upset and we mourn
Mm-hmm.
this, like, invisible little grief of unmet expectations.
Sure.
But that was never our life to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't actually our life. So, can you remember the first time you felt this way, like as a homemaker? I remember my kids getting to the point where I couldn't control them so much
Oh,
anymore.
yeah. I mean, as maybe not as a homemaker. I mean, as a mother, the day you realize, oh, you're your own person and you're actually going to disappoint me.
Hmm.
And this
Hmm.
this is going to be challenging. Like, you try so hard as a new mother. You're like, I'm going to do XYZ different than my mom did or than I see people doing, and I'm going to like circumvent all that. And then you have the first run in or the first tantrum, even where you're in a store and you're like, ah, this is
Yeah.
embarrassing, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And that I think, even like as a mom, coming to terms with, you're actually disappointing me. What,
Hmm.
how do I even do this? How do I even have this feeling? How do I
Hmm.
work through this feeling? Like I remember that. I remember that. Like,
Hmm.
please don't. I wanted you to be different. I wanted you to be sinless. I thought if I tried really hard,
I could be
you
the
could
one
beat the
parent.
system. Yeah.
Yeah, funny how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, sometimes I think about how the Lord must see us when he's just like, man, I wanted you to be different. We've talked about this. Do you remember what happened last time?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh wait, our actual living is different.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's good. Well, okay, let's think about this. Is it good to have expectations?
I okay. I I think so.
Okay.
I let me just speak to myself. Like I am an imaginer. So I have a very strong imagination. I'm not going to say like something new agey, like that's how I realize things, but like I envision
Mhm.
things and kind of like imagine the whole process, whether it's motherhood or whatever, or a new idea for my job or my garden or whatever. So I think that that's good. And then I have an expectation of how that will come out. I think the expectation needs to be held loosely, not tight fisted.
I can think about, I'm the same way. I'm a
Okay.
visualizer, not as in like a new age
Manifestation. Yeah,
manifester.
yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
no. But before we had this farm and our family, I had it in my mind's eye
Mm, there you go.
what I wanted it to feel like,
Hmm.
what I wanted it to be like. And we spent so many years building this, and many of the pieces we were able to build and to
Hmm.
achieve. It was so much harder than I think we both realized it would be, and that it carried so many more disappointments than I think
Hmm.
we maybe were expecting.
Sure.
But I also think that's necessary because who would do anything if they knew how hard it would actually be? Who would get married? Who would have children? Who would be an entrepreneur? Who
Yeah.
would own a home? Who would have a garden?
Right.
Like, we wouldn't do any of these things if we didn't have maybe slightly unrealistic expectations.
Hmm.
Um, I think what I was unprepared for is how fast that pocket of time would be consumed. It just feels like we worked so hard to give our kids this home,
Hmm.
to build this. Like we talked about this a few weeks ago. And now all of a sudden it's like we're facing them like Georgia leaving. Georgia's just insanely independent.
Hmm.
She wants to study abroad her senior year. Of
Hmm.
course she
Hmm.
does. In Italy, of course she does. I will come with you. But and it's just this kind of weird situation. But hmm, I think we need hope. We need expectations. We need dreams.
Sure.
We need to be able to hope for these kinds of things in order to function in life.
Oh yeah, and that's also creativity too. I mean, that is, and it's how you. I think that also prepares you for the next chapters too.
Okay, so you
And
have in
like
your
what you're.
notes here the identity hangover. Number
Oh,
4, when you outgrow who you used to be.
okay. Where do I have that written?
Skip down. It's number 4.
Okay,
Well, well done.
thank you.
Um, I think this is actually a part of what a lot of people feel at
Mm-hmm.
various points in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because they're not who they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, listener, that you're not who you used to be even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And before you know it, these years kind of like they start to build on each other, you know?
Yeah, they build, and and you have to have like a foot in both ponds, you
Yeah.
know? So I think like for you and I, like let's just use you and I as an example. I have one that's left. I have another one on the way out. You're already thinking about Georgia leaving. It's so easy to like look at the next chapter and your expectations for that and the mystery of that and forget like I have a 10-year-old. So I'm actually still actively in this stage that I think I'm mourning,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm actually in it. So don't detach too much because I'm still in it.
No,
And that little one deserves me to be in it to win it, you know? Like you
a
got to be
hundred
like in
percent.
both.
That's a
Like,
good point. That's a good point, and that's exactly where we are right now. I know we
yeah.
have people listening from various stages,
Mm-hmm.
but Stu's primary job in our little family ecosystem is to make sure that the kids' education is completely taken care of. This is how we've sort of just delineated some of these pieces of our work within
Mm-hmm.
our home. This is what he's trained for. This is his specialty. We have an incredible church co-op that we're a part of, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera, et cetera. But there was this moment that dawned on us a few months ago. We've had the Elliott Homestead for 16 years now. Half of that is 8. In 8 years, our youngest is done with school.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was this, and if you have older kids too, it's not that you're hands off with their school, but it's not like when they're 10, 11, 12,
Oh,
13.
yeah. I'm mostly like, did you do XYZ? Good
They're
job.
kind of in
Yeah.
there, you're
Yeah.
having these deep conversations and you're wrestling with this idea, but you're not like, here's how you open Google Docs to type your paper.
Right.
It's just you're having different
Yeah.
conversations. Anyway, it dawned on us that in 8 years, this whole identity, this whole purpose
Mm-hmm.
that he has that's consuming his life right now
Mm.
is done. And 8 years might sound like a really long time if you're young, but it feels like a nothing burger to us. It
Yeah.
feels like it's just going to fly by because it's not just 8 years. It's like, okay, well, then there's Georgia. And then
There'll be these
18
big
months
things
later, then it's
happening
Owen.
in
And then
the,
18 months
yeah.
later, it's Will. And then, do you know what I mean? So
Sure.
it's not, the ecosystem changes.
Yeah.
We have to grow. If
Well,
he's in 20 years being like, well, my identity is being a homeschool dad, and it's like, okay, but there's no one to homeschool. So now what?
right.
Now what?
That's why I wrote last week's Substack. Like, what? It's all, it's a long time from now, but at the same time, it's going to go really fast. So
Yes.
my point was like, what can I start just slowly cultivating now? Because I do the teaching. I'll have this huge chunk
Yeah.
of, uh, you
hmm
know,
hmm
um, and
Yeah.
our notes talk about like when your old life fits. So I think like that works. So like when we're talking about our almost 10-year-olds, but it doesn't quite feel right anymore because there's so much change happening with the other ones.
And during those teenage years, your life just changes just generally.
Hmm.
They're your goals are a little bit different. When they were little, I'll tell you what, moms, if you have littles, bathe your babies in a little bubble bath for me and like wrap them up in clean little onesies and sit with them on your lap and read them books. Oh my gosh. Like I can feel myself
Hmm.
lactating just thinking about that. That was such a beautiful, beautiful. I was there, man. I was in it.
Hmm.
I, I was in it deep with my babies, and I'm so glad that I was. Um, that was so much more controllable. And so I think there was a lot less disappointment, even though, I remember feeling, I love this story. Let me tell you the story. I don't know if I ever have. I told you, Angela, but not maybe our listeners. When I was pregnant with Georgia, Georgia's our first. I was really getting into like this crunchy thing, right? This
Hmm.
just like kind of body awareness, health awareness, food awareness, et cetera, et cetera. And so I decided to see a midwife and to have a natural birth at a birthing center. Okay. I saw my midwife through all of my pregnancy and I felt very comfortable with her. Well, about 3 weeks before Georgia was due, we found out that she was breech. And at that time in Washington State, midwives were not allowed to do breech births.
Mhm.
Okay. So I freaked out and I did all the things. So I did, I
All
mean,
the
like
handstands
acupuncture,
underwater. There's
handstands
all the things
underwater,
you can do. Yeah.
moxie sticks, burn
Yeah.
next to the pinky, like you name it. I
Uh-huh.
did it. I had earphones shoved down my pants, like move towards the sound.
Which can work. I mean,
It
but
can work. I tried all the
yeah.
things. I genuinely tried all the things.
Hmm.
I tried a manual version, which was
Oh,
probably the scariest thing I've ever
those
done
are
in my life.
scary. Yeah. Yeah.
I was not prepared for what that was.
Mm-hmm.
That was horrific.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so, again, at that time in Washington State, this was 16 years ago, um, OBGYNs also didn't do breech births. Our only option was a C-section.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so angry. I was so
Mm-hmm.
frustrated. And I was young and I was naive and I just thought, but that's not how I want to identify.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I am a mom. I'm aware of these things. Like I know what happens when it comes out the birth canal and I want all the things for this baby. It was our first one. I just had my expectations were
Mm.
sky high. I wanted her to be healthy and strong and beautiful. And I wanted to have this experience with her and do the delayed clamping. And like, I
Mm.
had all of these things just bound up
Mm.
in, in what I had, my expectations of this birth.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's making me cry. Good. No,
Well,
this
it's
is
a lot.
she's
It's a
fine.
lot.
I
Yeah.
was emotional about it.
Yeah.
And none of that worked. We have to schedule a C-section. And before the C-section, my water breaks and I go into labor. And so I'm scared. It's my first time. I don't really know what I'm feeling. I don't really know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up having to go into the emergency room and we end up having to do an emergency C-section. C-section's already scary when you're in labor, like full on labor and in pain, and you have to sit for an epidural and they're like, don't move, but you're having a contraction. I was terrified,
Yeah.
absolutely terrified. I was cold. I was scared. Stuart couldn't be in there. None of this was what I wanted. Oh my gosh, I don't know what my problem is. I'm going to blame the plague. And we have the C-section, and she's beautiful.
Mm.
And I remember thinking, aliens could have brought you here. I wouldn't have cared
Right.
because I get to like love you and you're so lovely and you're so beautiful and you're mine. And I just felt so grateful that she was healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was one problem, one goal, and that's that she got here and that she was healthy. But what I found out afterwards, which is why I'm telling you this story. What I found out afterwards was that because I have a uterine anomaly, if I would have given birth to her at the birthing center, I found this out with my second birth, which was a VBAC. I would have that anomaly would have torn out, and I most likely would have bled to death. Because that is what happened during my second birth, but they were able to stop it because I was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got the answer to that question, like why did this have to go this way?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer was 18 months later was, well, if it went the way that you would have wanted, you would have died.
Yeah.
So all those things that you were trying to do, it's not that any of them were bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's that that's not what the Lord had for you. And praise God for that because I was saved from myself truly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that doesn't work for all disappointment. You know, I think about like parents who have lost a child.
Right.
Or a spouse or these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a disappointment they have to live with until glory. That's not one that gets answered in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But that particular instance taught me a lot about if the answer's no, no's an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to feel disappointed for a moment. But ultimately, we're not the weavers of this tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I gotta go get a Kleenex.
No.
Can you hang on for 1 second?
Sure.
Just a second.
It's okay. Oh, that is so true. I'm just going to carry on while she's walking away. My first birth, similar to Shay in that I had started on this natural journey, which we talked about last week, and I was just all about the home birth. And long story short, oh, here she's going to put her
I
headphones
could
back
hear you.
on.
I could hear
Okay,
you.
long
Fine.
story short, I labored at home for about 20 hours, and it was a physician attended home birth, and they were pretty sick of me. They were like, "We're going to transfer you." I just wasn't making any progress, which is so, hindsight, like
Disheartening.
just well, and so normal for a first time
Oh yeah.
delivery. I mean, talk about expectations, the expectations that
Yeah.
doctors put on the timeline of how long it should take you to have a baby are, don't get me started. Um, but I ended up at the hospital, which was devastating to me. I don't think I had hardly, pardon me, ever stepped foot in a hospital before then. Just completely naive to nursing shifts and clipboards and answering questions and the way things are done and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And I was pretty defensive because I was pretty pissed off to be there. Um, he was born. They took him away from me, which I never wanted, put him down in that little room. That trashed me for about 2 years. Not, I shouldn't laugh. That was really bad for me. But again, 11 days later, we, long story short, could tell something was really wrong and ended up back in the hospital with a heart problem. And looking back, once I got over mourning that they took him away from me, because that hour and a half really traumatized me where he wasn't with me. But after the fact, a couple years later, I was able to see that having exposure to hospital environment just sort of prepared me for this next round of hospital environment, which was really
Mhm.
bad, like the, PICU and that
Mhm.
being on my guard. I said I was mad to be there. I was defensive. I didn't want their help. I didn't want to interact with nurses. That actually was a good thing because I was a very proactive, attentive mother in the PICU to the point where the cardiologist said, like, it's really good that you're so like, I'm not going to put that down. I'm going to tell you that that's good. He said a lot of parents, this is so traumatic for them, they just sort of detach.
Mhm.
And in my like aggressiveness, I caught what was almost a double medication during a shift change or right after a shift change that would have killed him. And so you get to look back sometimes, not all the time, but you get
Sometimes.
to look back and say, okay, I can see now. And I can still mourn that, but I have a little bit more perspective. And that's really grace. We don't get that with everything in life, but sometimes we do.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, we really do. And the older you get, the more instances you have of these kinds of situations and how they sometimes you do get to see the other side of those things. And sometimes you just you need to give yourself, you know, a good 20 minutes to just feel proper disappointed.
Hmm. And it
Just
doesn't
it's
mean
okay.
that,
Just feel disappointed.
yeah.
Okay.
And these are like big stories that we just shared, but it
Yes.
doesn't mean that in your disappointment that like life has necessarily gone wrong.
Well, the last time I remember feeling this way, I think I called you, but I had this woman who was like, send me the deposit links for Kvita. Me and my husband and I and two other couples are going to come. And it was going to sell out our September trip. And
Okay.
I just thought, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. This is
Hmm.
incredible.
Hmm.
And then the next day she texts me and something had happened, blah, blah.
Hmm.
I've learned that this happens a lot, but this moment I felt just straight up disappointment. Not this went wrong, she's wrong, I'm
Hmm.
wrong, this trips are wrong, my job's nothing like that. It was just bummer.
Hmm.
Just proper bummer.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Stu, he let me cry. He let me lament a little bit and he was like, okay, 30 minutes, be sad, and then we're gonna keep going. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, it's, it isn't always that something is wrong. It's like, this
Yeah.
is your life. This is life, and it's allowed to look like this.
Hmm.
And
And I think it's not off track. It's not abnormal.
mm,
And I think it's also like this human, we're torn. Okay, allow me to geek out for a minute. I know a lot of you actually are in Stuart's
I
like,
knew you were going to go here.
I know everything relates to Lord of the Rings. Prove it's not
Shay's in a
true.
Lord of the Rings centric life right
It's
now,
like
chapter
Job.
of life.
It's either Job in scripture or Lord of the Rings. Those
Okay.
two things, they connect all things, okay? There's this really great scene where they're in Lothlorien, which is like elf place, okay? And it was this one time this spectacular, beautiful, gilded, magical land. And it's fading away, and the elves know it's fading away. So it's kind of this, there's still pieces of it, but it's like a shell of what it once was, the glory that it once was.
Mm-hmm.
Think Rome, okay?
Sure.
Same kind of thing. A shell of its former glory. And so Stuart and I have been talking a lot about our souls as people and how they long for eternal things. That's why when people die, we feel really, really sad
Mm-hmm.
because there is this eternity written on our hearts. There's this eternal piece of us. So when our favorite houseplant dies, or when plans don't work out and we don't get to see people, or our marriage isn't the way that we think it was, or our finances aren't the way that we think it was, it's because there's this piece of us that wants things to be whole, and they
Yes.
want things to be eternal, and they
Yeah.
want things to be honest and beautiful and true. And that's why strip malls make me so sad, because they're not beautiful.
Right.
Do you know what and there's it's written in me. It's written in
Yeah.
all of us to want things that are good and true and beautiful. And part of that is things that are eternal, things that don't have an end, things that don't have to pass away, the things that don't have to die, where the streets are gilded in gold and like, and there is this like full restoration of fellowship, and full restoration of like of union, and full restoration of ourselves and our brokenness and our emotions and our disappointments. Like that's what our souls long for. And so you said we I just realized you said we shouldn't go deep or be dramatic. I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, it's
But that's why we feel disappointed. We feel disappointed when somebody says a snarky remark to us,
yeah.
or we're not able to come to resolution with people, or we fall out of fellowship with our family,
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean, insert any sort of disappointment that you could possibly imagine. That's why we feel that way.
I just think that we're sort of set up to think we should be tougher. We shouldn't,
Yeah.
and same along that,
Yeah.
like be so sensitive. We shouldn't take so much to heart. But to your point, if it's written on our heart, like that, the
We'll always feel that way.
the disappointment, from the micro disappointments to the
Yeah.
big ones, it is a natural response. And I just think we need to be allowed to acknowledge that and maybe
Hmm.
talk about it and not feel shame and like, "Ugh, I am disappointed."
Yep.
It doesn't, I think we are, especially believers, we feel like disappointment equals like malcontent. I think we
Hmm.
lump all those negative words into one like toxic waste bin, and we think
Don't you think we
we
also
can't
lump the
go
like
there.
being a new person, like, oh, you're malcontent with who you are or what the Lord has given you. Like, why would
Mm.
you be striving for something else?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. All
that's
this
the same
stuff
thing.
gets
Yeah.
lumped into don't do that, don't think that. You should be
Right.
happy. You're made in the image of God. You know,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
this isn't your eternal home. Like don't do that. You know, and
Okay. Again, let's go back to Job. What happens to Job?
right,
Like,
right.
Job's
So
very upset with his circumstances.
so is
And
David.
Job, oh yeah, and he cries out and he's like,
Yeah,
hey, like,
yeah. So
can
I
the
just
dead worship you? Come
mm-hmm,
on.
mm-hmm, mm,
And
yeah,
that's not unrighteousness.
right.
That's disappointment. That's just him being like, I'm disappointed with how this whole thing is going.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. It's interesting. What also affects this culturally is when, you and I both kind of live in the public eye. I have people tell me they're disappointed with me.
Oh, I love that. That feels so good.
Hmm. You're not the same. I liked you better when you've changed.
You cut your hair.
You got your
How dare you? Yeah.
and so we naturally almost start to live our lives to avoid other people being disappointed in us.
Mm-hmm. That's the key.
Um, Shoot, I was reading. I'm trying to remember now what I was reading. Um, it was an Italian. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get this wrong. But it
Mm-hmm.
was an Italian guy. His dad wanted him to take over the business. It's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to go somewhere else and be a part of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I realized either my dream or his was going to have to die. And I think that's sort of this paradox that we can feel in, to go back to like our homestead, I've had people email me, write me letters in the snail mail,
Mm-hmm.
send me messages on social media, oh, I liked you better when you don't even homestead anymore, da 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 da, as if life stands still, as if life doesn't change, as if
Mm-hmm.
families don't change,
Mm-hmm.
as if they're going to come here and milk the cow for me every morning at 5 a.m. Um, Imagine trying to not only manage your own disappointment, well, you don't have to imagine. We're trying to manage our own
Mm-hmm.
disappointment and manage it so that, we make our parents proud, we make our siblings proud, we make our community proud. We're upstanding members of our communities, upstanding
Mm-hmm.
members of our church, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And man, that really that sets us up uh, to have lots of disappointment.
Yeah. And then I'm sorry, like not to beat a dead horse, but then you add to that social media exposure and your exposure every day to lives you're never going to live
Because
and
they're not yours.
outfits you're never going to have and places you're never going to go. And
Yeah.
that's,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
It's the best parts of your life are not online. And I think you're never going to stop disappointment because we live in a fallen world
mhm,
with fallen people, and fallen circumstances. So that can't be the solution. I think learning to manage your disappointment, again, for the believer, I know a lot of you that listening are believers, and I know a lot of you aren't because you email us and you're very kind, but it like we've said many times on this podcast, it shapes the way we see everything. Now, because the Lord and I have a history, and I have seen where He has brought me through things that I couldn't understand in the moment. Um, I remember, I think I've told this story in the podcast before, but when we did the Food Network pilot, it cost us so much time and money and effort to
mm,
make that, to do that. And when it didn't get picked up, I was so fatigued by the whole process. I remember feeling like a deep disappointment and also being like, oh well, because we have enough of a history. I know that whatever it is, it's for my good. I
mm,
might not like it.
mhm,
Working out, I don't like, but it's for my good.
mm,
And so there was sort of this just trust that even with disappointment comes the right things. And even if the answer is no, the answer is no because it keeps you on the correct path. That's how I manage disappointment now. You feel
mhm,
it, you acknowledge it, you don't let it make a nest in your hair, you don't let it
mhm.
make you bitter. Um, and then you just sort of like kind of carry on.
Right. And I think it's good in quiet to reflect like what is the source of this disappointment? Is this coming from a no, a not right now? Is this coming
Yeah.
from above? Is this coming from some sort of timeline that I've imposed on my life? Some sort of like
Mhm.
comparison illusion or just idea that I've been dogmatic about for so long. I'm holding it tight, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I love in this instance, I think a good exercise if we're looking for like a take home
Okay.
piece.
Hmm.
Keep a journal. I keep a prayer journal, but keep a journal because what you'll notice is 3 months out, 6 months out, 9 months out, a year out, years out, when you go back and you reflect, which,
Mm-hmm.
you should do, when you take some time to actually reflect, you see like, oh, that's why that didn't,
Sure.
that's why that didn't work out.
Or that's why I felt disappointment, like in the areas
Yes.
where it is self-inflicted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Um, on a lighter note, I saw a great Instagram reel that there was this therapist who's now prescribing a millennial nostalgic reset, which means basically you're sad. Go put on some good music. Go put on some good nostalgic
Mm-hmm.
music. Give yourself a little millennial dance party where you can drop it like it's hot and then carry on. Like just reset you. Tell yourself, I'm disappointed. Okay, I'm gonna shake it like a salt shaker for 30 minutes and then we're gonna move on with our day. So I
Oh
was
my God.
scrubbing my bathroom floor yesterday to Celine Dion. I was just like, let's go, girl. Come on.
Celine Dion.
She's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. She can
Some of
sing,
those,
man.
yeah, some of those people, like if you go back to like before the overexposure, you know,
Uh,
there's like a
yeah.
really good nostalgic nugget there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I'm listening to that Celine Dion song, It's All Coming Back to Me,
Mm-hmm.
And when I
It's
first
a
heard that,
great
I was
one
like
for a wooden
fourth
spoon.
grade. Fourth grade, and I'm like, it's
My
all
fourth grade. Eh.
and then it's hilarious because you're listening to it now and it's like making me cry because
Mm.
I'm like, this is as an adult who's
Mm-hmm.
been married, you're like, oh, this is heartbreaking. They're like on again, off again, on
Yeah.
again. So sad. Anyway, okay. Let's take time with a few comments, shall we?
Let's do. Let's
Okay.
do. I'll let you go first. I pulled up a
Okay,
few other things.
Kayla B. McNeely. Homeopathy. This was about last week's episode. Homeopathy. Yes, please ignore the username as I share a Spotify account with my husband. Okay, so it's not Caleb writing us in. I'm Laura, and I've been listening to you for almost as long as I've been married. I was driving and listening today, and you started talking about that, and I got so excited. If someday I need something new to learn, I want to take classes on homeopathy. I love this. I also want to take classes on homeopathy because I want to understand it better than I do now and I don't understand. I still have to look everything up. It's definitely not instinctual to me yet.
Mm.
So I know there's a lot of online resources for this kind of thing, but this is cool. I love this. And this is how you change. You do
Yep.
some classes on homeopathy, 2 years down the road, you're a different person.
I was gonna say you're a witch, but
No, no,
just kidding.
no.
Sorry, that's my sense of humor.
Gosh.
I try to keep on
Keep
the
it in
low
a
with the
stuff that
mic.
down, Angela.
Push it down. All right. KK says, love. Hey, ladies, longtime listener. I love that you're talking about health. This is from last week's episode. And everything that you've learned. I coach women specifically on exactly what you're talking about: weight loss, perimenopause, navigation, hormone balance. And Angela, love to lead with labs. That's in response to me saying labs are like my go-to
Mm-hmm.
nerd out thing. She says, ever need someone to come on and geek out over this? I'm your girl. Thanks for being my ears and my heart for the last 5 years. And it looks like we can find her at Wild Roots Health and Wellness. Cool. Yeah, I love me some labs.
I love
Uh,
it.
okay.
Crown and Country. I'm a big believer in the GI map. So we talked about health last week, if you're picking up on this.
Mhm.
It's so helpful for me. It does involve supplements, but they are guided by a practitioner instead of shooting in the dark. I have more energy and strength than I've had in a long time. So we had Christy on multiple times to talk about the GI map. If you want to go back and listen to those episodes, those got me a huge way closer to the to being like stable and healthy. So I also love the GI map. It gives you a reflection of what's going on. Um, and then what I loved is like it got me so far down the road, and then those intolerances, like, okay, well, what was causing the gut issues in the first place? Now that we've sort of got them a little bit more under control. So I love that too. That's a great resource.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna read.
You can scroll
I
down.
just scrolled down
Uh-huh.
to Alicia
Uh-huh.
Wimberly,
Mm-hmm.
and again, this is we've talked about this, and this is kind of on like last week's Substack for me. Have y'all been listening in on my therapy sessions? First of all, good for you for going to therapy, Alicia. Please, everyone go. I'm going through a season change. Both children are at school, and I'm gonna cry.
Just that episode, I guess, huh?
And it's hit me harder than I ever thought. Hearing you both speak to being bored in this manner hit home so hard. As a stay-at-home mom, the free hours I now have just feel strange and guilty. Seriously, God is using your wonderful banter and philosophizing about our worth behind the scenes has helped motivate me when depression threatens. Thank you, sisters.
That was sweet.
Mm,
That's a good one. Let's end on that one.
let's
Thank
do
you,
it.
Alicia. I love that. Seasons do change, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
It's wild.
Imperfectly chic, we are. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This is the season finale.
Is it? Crud, Shay, I thought we had one more.
Do we have one more? Maybe we do.
No, this is it. No,
Okay.
I just opened my iTunes and it looks like I sent you episode 9 last week. This is it. All right. That's a good, wow.
Wow. We really imperfectly podcasting
Imperfectly
since
podcasting.
2020. That's
Boom.
going to be our new tagline.
Red, imperfect, crooked lips.
Ay vey. Yes.
Oy.
So we're going to take a 2-week break and then we will be back here.
Yeah, 2 or 3. I don't know how it's going to pan out,
2.
but okay.
I think that's how we ended up just doing it. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll sort it out imperfectly, but we will be back here with you for another season. It'll be season 28. So that's a lot of episodes. That's a lot of banter, a lot of philosophizing, a lot of crying. Some
Yeah.
good, some bad.
So over the break, listen to old episodes. Check out Shay's Substack. How do people find your Substack?
It's just shay.substack.com, but they should check out my Italy trips because we have one room left for September, is all.
Cool. I don't even know how to
Oh,
tell people.
grab a
to go to
girlfriend
my
and come.
Substack.
Grab your sister.
Is
Angela.
mine ParisianFarmGirl.substack.com? I don't even know. I'm terrible at that.
Substack. ParisianFarmGirl.substack.com. Yes, ma'am.
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies, we love you. Thanks for being here with us for season 27, imperfect as we are. We're so grateful for you, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Cheers.
Cheers.